Hello and welcome or welcome back. My name is Carrie and I have a glass of wine. I just recorded this video. It was for the second time because the first one I had a lighting problem and I was editing it and I was like, oh God, it's just terrible. So I'm going to do it again like tomorrow, which is today. And I was speaking eloquently. I was more concise than I've ever been. I stayed on topic. It was amazing. It was very unlike me. I wasn't recording my voice. I was only recording the visuals and I was muted. So that was that. So, okay, we're going to try again. I have 3 readings that I want to talk about that I did in October. One of them was very magical and others just helped me grow as a person. And I got a few new books. I read a book. I listened to a really good audiobook, so I'll tell you about that. October started with me coming home from Vermont. I got my car back. I got to my car and then was still in Vermont for the night of November 1st. And then I drove down to Pennsylvania. I stayed, it's along the Appalachian Trail. I stayed at a place that I wanted to stay the first time, I was by there. And it's really nice and also a very affordable option if you didn't want to camp. And I did not want to camp anymore. My back hurt way too badly. So I was very happy to get a very nice room in a bed and breakfast, and they were awesome. They fed me well. And then that wasn't far from another place that's along the Appalachian Trail, the original Washington Monument. So I just felt, as soon as I knew I was going to Waynesboro, Pennsylvania, I was like, I'm going to go to the monument in Maryland because it's just a hop, skip, and a jumping away. It was the plan, solid plan that is happening. And of course, I run into a couple of hikers that I am watching as they vlog their southbound trip on the Appalachian Trail right now. And it was magical. I got to give them food. I was a total fangirl nerd, but they were cool. And anyway, it was great. And then I spent a couple of weeks really resting without feeling guilty about resting. Oh my God, it's so different than really being anxious about it. Wow, it gives a whole new meaning to rest. So I rested for a couple of weeks. I made several big pots of chicken soup. I took lots of Epsom salt baths and I took long walks with my dogs. They get walked when I'm gone, but I was gone for 2 weeks and, my husband has to work and they don't get into the woods as much as they do with dog mom me. So we had long walks at parks in the woods. It was great. And then I went down and visited my daughter for a week and left a deck there by accident and spent several days searching this house madly, and my husband's car. I'm like, I know it's not in his car, but where is it? I had texted my daughter, hey, do you have this deck? Do you have teravolatile? That's what it was. And I said, can you look under your bed? And she said, nope, it's not there. And then after another day of looking, I was like, can you check under the couch next to the side table? It has to be at her house. I did a big reading at her house and I did multiple readings. Teravolatile, by the way, looks good with the herbal astrology oracle, really, really good. So been loving that pairing, but I also did it with my energy archaeology reading, my big reading. And it looked so good and gave me great stuff. It's there. It's at her house. Her boyfriend needed to look. She couldn't find it, but it is there. So I'll have it back again when we go down for Christmas. Okay, so went and visited my daughter. We went to the zoo. We went consignment shopping. We now have twin lamps, although hers has a much better shade because she got this adorable little shade. Anyway, we had a great time, great visit. Let's get into the first reading. Okay, so my monthly envelope reading that I am going to change up for next year. I've been already thinking about it. I have a few decks pulled aside with ideas. I think this is what I'm going to do for both my monthly envelope and a moon envelope. It's going to be more about play next year. This was really about spiritual searching, I guess. And I really love this combination. It's beautiful, but it does require me to really sit down for a long time and get into all the guidebooks, which I enjoy, but it's been 2 years of me doing kind of guidebook heavy envelopes, and I just want them to be lighter and fluffier for next year. So excited about that. but these work so beautifully together. The Sacred Rebel Oracle, I pull one card from this. The Wild and Sacred Feminine deck, also one card. 2 cards from the Witch Sisters Tarot, and then 1 card from the Mysteries of the Black Madonna. When I open the envelope, I pull the cards out upside down. I know what the backs are, right? I know which deck it is, but I lay them out like basically it's these. This is always going to go on this side. The Wild and Sacred Feminine is going to go on the left of the Sacred Rebel, and the Mysteries of the Black Madonna on the right. And then these I just turn over right as they are. And they always work out. They always seem to go together. This is even 4 of Holy Trees and 7 of Trees. So the wands for this suit for both decks are trees. And here we have the Karandra with Healing and Ace of Waters, and it's Against the Grain. And this for me was really a reading about, what I gleaned from the guidebooks, and what it just felt right was really, once again, about creative fire. Using it is a healing process. And I leave the reading up on my magnetic board for the month so I can see it. I usually revisit it again like 2 or 3 times. Definitely at the end of the month, I look at it again and like update my journal if there's anything else I wanted to add to it, or how it went. If it gave me an idea to try something, how that went. That's how I use this. And it's been really lovely. This was very much, this is what I needed to help me heal with something. I was like, you know what? It took me the whole month before I finally did it. But at the end of the month, I did get myself a box of 64 crayons, because I have 8-year-old me has some trauma around a box of crayons and a coloring book. So I got myself a box of crayons and finally found a coloring book I wanted to color. And I'm using like colored markers and pencils and highlighters. Like I have some metallic pens. So I'm using different things. It's not just the crayons, but it's been so good. Like it feels good to just sit and color. And I'll put on either some good music or, one of my herbal lessons. So I colored this to learning about elderberry. And one I'm working on right now. Working on this one right now. It's just been great. Really relaxing, calming, and it just feels good for me. So, yay. And that encouraged me to make another goal for next year involving drawing. So I've always say, I wish I could draw, but I don't actually spend time drawing or practicing. I have all the tools for drawing, but I don't actually draw because I can't draw because I don't know how. So I stop myself before I start. It's terrible. Well, this isn't about drawing, but I got myself a Peterson's Field Guide to Medicinal Plants and Herbs, because I have field guides for trees. I have field guides for birds. I have field guides for foraging food, but I didn't have one for medicinal plants. So excited for this. I am going to really I have to spend time in the woods, but I'm not like a person who wants to hike 1,000,000 miles a day anymore. I want to like meander and find plants and sit with them and identify them and learn what they're good for. So I got this book, very good. And I attend the Chestnut School of Herbal Medicine. It's an online program. I'm really enjoying it. I love it. And they have a list of resources. And as I can, I'll add another book to my collection of guidebooks and things. And this one was one highly recommended, Foraging and Feasting, a Field Guide and Wild Food Cookbook. But it has really beautiful drawings of the plants. So my goal is to just sit and practice every day, drawing a leaf or drawing something, some bee balm, some monarda, Didyma, or Fistulosa. So that's the plan, is to be practicing drawing and being okay with it's a learning process and it's okay. Yeah, gorgeous. Also cookbook as well. So in addition to the monthly envelope, I have a moon envelope, and I have one card from Sacred Mothers and Goddesses in the envelope. And then in the guidebook, each goddess has some great information. So I always read what's in the guidebook for that goddess, but often it takes a while for me to get to the actual reading. Sometimes I do it the same day that I open it, but often it's like, oh, today's the full moon. Let me open it and put it on my altar space. And I do spend time thinking about it. So Pachamama, Mother Nature, and grounding were the keywords. And October for me was really about maternal, ancestral energy. Really thinking about my mother and my grandmother, especially, but also like all the mothers I had that I didn't know, and it really focusing on that. So while doing this, I had this reading out on my desk, and I was like, it was a Sunday, and I'm like, okay, I am going to frame the picture of my grandmother that I've wanted framed for a while. And so I did that, and then I kept her little picture here and had my mala beads with her picture, and was really thinking about her as well as Mother Earth, right? Like while doing this reading. And I used future ancestors as the cards to go with this one for the reading. It was beautiful. It was really healing. Then I journal about it, and I get up from journaling about this reading, and I walk into the bathroom and decide, you know what? I need to clean that drawer. I've been, a hiker basically since I started hiking the AT in 2022. I haven't really used makeup and hair products and things like that. So I have a drawer of stuff that's like old and needs to be thrown away. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to tackle this drawer. And I go through the drawer, and I get to the bottom of the drawer, and my grandmother's earrings that I lost 4 years ago. I thought they were lost. I thought they were like in a hotel room. I had no idea where they were. There they were in the drawer. It was really beautiful. And the more amazing thing, not only me finding them at that time, right after I do this reading where I'm focusing on my grandmother's picture, my right ear has been closed up for a couple of years. So my ears were pierced when I was 2. So I went, I wore earrings a lot. But then eventually I went through phases of not wearing earrings for long periods of time. And it got harder and harder to get an earring in my right ear. I know I wore earrings in 2020 because I had my grandmother's other earrings on when I got married. But yeah, it was getting harder to get earrings in that ear, and I just kind of stopped. And then when I did try, it was closed up, and I tried multiple times over the last couple years. And if I just put some ice on my ear and just did it and took an earring and like really poked it through, because it wasn't completely closed, but it was partially closed. But I'm a wuss, and I did not want to do that. So I had already texted my daughter, hey, when I come down to see you, let's go get my ear pierced. I'm ready. I pick up my grandmother's earrings after finding them 4 years of missing, and it goes right in my ear, both of them. What? So lovely, beautiful reading, well-timed or magical. Yeah, but I think my nan was there. Okay, the other reading that I want to talk about is the one involving my energy archaeology oracle. So I purposely pulled a card out of here because I wanted to work with my throat chakra and potential LMNOP. So I wanted to work with the throat chakra. I pulled the hyoid out, which is a bone in our throat that helps anchor our muscles around our vocal cords and our tongue, but not attached to other bones. And that's the only bone in our body that doesn't somehow attach to another bone. So I purposely pulled this card out of the deck. I read the guidebook, and in the guidebook, you get great information. You really get to learn about yourself, but there's also associated cards. So I purposely pulled all 6 of the associated cards, which left me with 7 of these in my big reading. So I laid out the 7 cards and put them in the order that just felt right. And we started with open, which is clavicles. And I think it's beautiful. I love these energy lines, like you have wings kind of a thing. So I pull that, and then I decided I wanted to have another oracle and a tarot card to go with each of the 7 cards that I pulled. So I pulled 7 cards after shuffling it. So these I pulled with intention, but this I shuffled. And this is the Orenda Tarot. Super cute, brand new, got it last month by Bouchette Design, which is Carrie somebody. I remember her first name because it's my name. And then I mixed that with shuffling this deck, Wisdom of the Wild Things, and pulled one card to go with each one of these. So that left me with, for my first of the 7 readings, with the clavicles or open, the sun, and harvest. Okay, so then I go in the guidebook here and I read everything, glean from it what I want, and I wrote down the 4 questions that are, I think there's 4 with every, 3 or 4 questions with every card. And I wrote those down in my journal. And the first reading, I had already pulled the cards here at home, but I brought everything in this when I went down to my daughter's. I also brought several decks with me and some guidebooks with me. So this doesn't have a guidebook. It has some keyword cards, but not a guidebook. And this has a little bit of a guidebook. You get a paragraph with each card, which is great. It's just enough. I really want to work off of the artwork and the keyword. And I think it works so well. And this was a deck that I was like against. I didn't really want it, but it really works like, I don't know, like looking at the art and breathing like quietly with it. It's as if I'm inhaling a steamed bowl of eucalyptus or peppermint, you know, when you put your head over the steamy water to breathe in the vapors. I really like to do that when I'm not feeling great with my bowl of chicken soup and lots of garlic and just like inhale, breathe it in. So good. Anyway, that's what this deck feels like to me. Like it's medicine that you inhale. I don't know how else to say it. It's just how I feel. I read the guidebook from Energy Archaeology. I read the guidebooks that I had with me to pull some like words and phrases for the sun. So I had Raven's Prophecy, I had the Hyde Tarot, and I had Queer Crow Death Magic, and Radiant Wilds. So I pulled some phrases out of that. And then for Harvest, I literally just went to the dictionary and the dictionary and thesaurus and pulled out some key phrases. So I'm thinking of all these things. There's 21 cards altogether in this reading that I'm going to slowly work through 3 at a time. But as I'm working with these 3, I'm also incorporating other tarot decks into it. Decided to throw down some cards from Tarot Volatile, and it was so good. It was beautiful. So I had 10 of Cups with the 6 of Swords, the King of Swords with the 5 of Swords, and the Page of Wands with the 9 of Cups. So I put down 2 cards for each one of these cards, and then just like free wrote, and this is what I got. So to answer the question, what am I being asked to open to right now? An unfolding, an enjoying of the here and now, a leaving, nay, harvesting, an extraction, a holding up to the light, that which lived deeply inside of you, stagnant and stale and festering. Recognize the rainbows, they don't last forever. Take your festering thoughts out to the sun to diminish their power. Stop, identify the feeling, then action. Part of the harvesting of your parasitic beliefs involves fire, action, curiosity, and honesty. As you investigate and illuminate and release what you don't want, think about what provides you joy and happiness. Like, it's just been great. So I finished up with these. I did the second question I answered. I decided I read the question and then I looked at the cards and put them down in this order. And for that reading, I used another new deck, the Little Bird Tarot, and it was great. I really thought that the Little Bird was going to be like a slow, study deck where I sit down and like go in order and learn all the birds before I really get to use the deck. No, just shuffle them up. They're great. They really speak. They chirp. So that was a great reading. And then when I answered the third question, I can't remember what order off the top of my head, but all of these things are things I'm journaling about. So I put them in whatever order felt right for that question. And then I pulled All right, this technically is not a new deck, but it's like it's new because I modified the deck and now it's a whole new deck, and it's so beautiful. It was already beautiful, but it was really slippery. I couldn't keep it in my hands, so I didn't use it as much as I should. The Curious Travels Tarot Deck by Amelia Rosier, and now its bag is a little too big, but it fits my hands so well. So I just love it. It looked beautiful with the borders, but it was like pagan otherworld slippery. So it was a little bit unwieldy. I love this death card. Okay, so we're not going to look more at this one because it's not technically new this month, but the other ones. Ooh, there's a storm a brewing outside. Cool. Yeah, so that is how I am currently working with the Energy Archaeology Oracle, in addition to Wisdom of the Wild Things and the Orenda Tarot. So let's take a look at those. Yep, a little steamy medicine. Oh, here are the backs, very shiny. And the book, you get a full-size picture and a good paragraph to go with it. Oh, look at the octopus. This is one of my cards, I think. It's in my reading. So I'll read that when I get the card. But really, it's just breathing in the essence of these little monsters. Yeah, I thought this deck wasn't for me. And then I heard Julie at Peekaboo Rose talk about how healing it was for her. And yeah, I feel like it's going to work very similarly. All right, that is Wisdom of the Wild Things. Brand new. Currently living on my desk. I'm still using the deck with other decks. Just because 7 of the cards are currently tied up doesn't make me not want to use it. And there's 45 cards. Okay, and then the Orenda Tarot. The backs are super cute. The edges, matte pink. You do get keyword cards. I wish this one was a little bit more slippery. It is a rose petal finish. It's fine, but it's not my favorite, but that's just a personal thing. I like bears as the sword suit. It's really sweet. I love the aces. They kind of go together. She has her stars. Look at that. Look, it's so cute. Yeah, it just makes me happy. Oh, it is really raining. All right, what else did we get? So I got Little Bird Tarot and Field Guide and an Oracle deck, The Spiritual Meaning of Birds by Erin Murphy Hissick, who is the author of the Green Witch's Oracle deck. And Little Bird, of course, by Shanna D. The backs, I thought on screen they were a little, I don't know, starker, blunter, that's not the word, but they're actually really soft. I like them. I did like the first edition, and I wouldn't have bought this last month because I did get so many decks, but I don't want to miss out on the second edition, so I didn't. It is really high quality. Look at this. I love it. like it's the thickness of the deck is about the Morgan Greer. So practically perfect. Very enjoyable shuffle. Yeah, I think it's not a deck that you rush the reading with, but at the same time, I think it really works even though I don't know what bird this is. Doesn't she look like a high priestess? I mean, I wouldn't, if I didn't know tarot at all, then that would, I think, yes, it would be hard to read with. But knowing the meanings of tarot, like, yeah, I think it's beautiful. I'm excited about a better garden next year and more pollinators coming to visit. I will be getting milkweed. So I have monarchs. Well, not that I have monarchs. So monarchs have milkweed because they need it. So yeah, this has been great. I've only had a couple of readings with it, but once I pulled it out to use with the energy archaeology and it worked so well, I'm like, okay, very confident that this is going to continue to just be honestly a pretty easy reader. Especially when I'm working with like multiple decks and this is like a clarifier for sure. All right, spiritual meaning of birds. I have barely used it. I pulled out some cards on purpose. I had a really special moment on trail with some chickadees. I woke up from a dream and told my hiking partner, God, I just had this dream where I was writing a children's book and this chickadee was like being shunned by the other chickadees because he really liked to listen to people music along the Appalachian Trail. And basically it was a dream about me being okay with playing music out of my pocket, which is controversial, right? You shouldn't be playing music, but my music isn't loud. You can't hear it from 30 feet away. But the bears hopefully can hear it, and that's the reason I have it. If I'm hiking alone, like they tell you if you're in bear country to like whistle, sing, speak, have conversations. But if I'm alone, I'm not going to have a conversation. So anyway, I had music. I had Queen playing out of my pocket later that day. And sure enough, 2 chickadees followed along. Oh, and in the story, there's another chickadee who finally comes along and is like, I like people music too. And they become friends. And that's how the book ends. And then it happened like in real life. So I pulled this out and did a reading for these 3 cards. And 3 keywords. And then I've also used it so far with like my grandma deck, that Angel deck, Radley Valentine, out of print. Love it. One of my grandma decks. So, oh. Magpie. I wish we had them here. Oh, I can't wait for more hummingbirds. So I just love bird energy. We have red-shouldered hawks that live here. I could hear them every day if I spend more time outside. And then, but I haven't got to see them as much. I wonder if I saw them mating, but I didn't see more than 2 at a time. So I don't know how that worked out. Hopefully it worked out well for them. Okay. I'm not going to talk about this deck at all because I did already talk about it a lot. And there's a whole video. It's over an hour long where all I do was talk about The Garden of Enchanted Creatures by M.J. Cullinane. Love it. It's great. It's very, I think, of the time. I think it's a deck, at least for me, I can use to help me get through troubled times. And yeah, I love it. This is the empty box. This, I thought I had to look and see when I got it because I'm like, surely I've had it longer than October. No, it was October. This is The Raven's Prophecy by Maggie Stiefvater, and it just went out of print. I bought it and then it went out of print. Sorry about that, guys. I actually already bought a second copy because I love it so much. And I thought chances are I'm going to end up trimming it down and taking it just having one deck with the borders and the key and the guide, the titles, and the other deck just the art so that I could use it with some of my other trimmed down decks. I think that's what I'm going to do, but I'm going to sit on that for a little bit to make sure, because I'm pretty rough with my shuffling and I can see this getting pretty beat up. Like, do I want to hang on to it? I just don't want to. I have one deck where I have 2 copies of it because I don't want to not have it. And that's Queer Crow Death Magic. I have other decks that I have more than one copy because I want different sizes. And yeah, I'm going to hold off a little bit longer, but I'm going to probably end up modding it. I don't know. I think maybe I should wait until I'm sure I know all of the cards. Let's see. Can I do it? Dude, I don't know. I thought it was the King of Wands. All right, I better learn it a little bit more. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Ace of Wands. Okay, yep. I better learn the deck a little bit more before I cut the titles off. Okay, so, yep. Raven's Prophecy. Finally got it. Totally dig it. Love that I had a bag ready to go. I got another animal oracle deck. The Untamed Spirit Animal Oracle. It comes in a bigger box, like these 2 things are in the bigger box, but I want this on my desk and that box is too big, so I just have it in the tuck box with the guidebook in a basket. There are 50 cards in this. This is edited by Francesca Mattioni and illustrations by Rocco Lombardi. I think the backs are super cool. I love how it's creamy and not like a stark white. Honestly, I haven't even really... I peeked in the guidebook. I can't remember reading a whole thing yet. I have purposely pulled a card from this with some other things. So I pulled, I found this coyote picture in a drawer that I forgot about, and I pulled this card out of the Prairie Majesty Oracle and this out of this deck. So my plan for next year is to have like coyote and play as like 2 key words to keep me on the right track. So I keep doing the things that energize me, right? And do less of the things that don't. So yeah, I dig it. I think it's beautiful. I really like 2 keywords. 3 is a little bit too much for me sometimes. Sometimes it's not a problem, and other times it's like, oh gosh. I love the squirrel. Yeah. So I'm gonna play around with this. I don't know what I want to pair it with. So at some point I'm gonna do a pairings video, I'm sure. And that again is Untamed Spirit Animal Oracle. This one, the Autumn Season Tarot, I saw a couple of cards. I hope that rain, let me close my window. That rain is loud. I saw a couple of cards on somebody's channel and ordered it because it's my favorite season and I just love it so much. I did have a little worry after I hit buy because it's coming from Canada. It's expensive. And I was a little like, oh gosh, am I really going to use it? Am I going to love it as much as I think? And the answer is I love it more than I thought. So I pulled this too, Coyote. I pulled this. Let's see. Okay, just because I have some Oracle decks, Oracle cards tied up in a reading doesn't stop me from using the Oracle deck. but it would stop me from using the tarot deck. Like I'm not going to use Orenda Tarot, but I will use this. So I pulled Identity with the Knight of Coins and the High Priestess out of this deck. And well, I don't know. It's been impactful is all I can say. I love it. I can't say how much I love it. And also they're like this, the Two of Cups, super cheesy, right? This definitely seems like, an engagement photo. And I love it. I'm super cheesy, so it's okay that it's cheesy. The star, the moon, and the sun, love it. Like, great. Yeah. So some of it is really, I guess the cheesiness comes from some of the clip art, seemingly images. I don't mean to be disparaging. It's cheesy in a good way. Like I like it. This is like the most down to earth deck I have. I took Tom Benjamin's class. It was November 2nd, so I shouldn't talk about it because it was not October. But I used this deck for the class that I took with him. It was very enjoyable. I highly recommend if you can take a class with Tom Benjamin to do so. It was really good. The readings were great. I had so many majors. So like this one, totally cheesy picture. But at the same time, I think I would... I am the kind of person who will go on the playground and play, but I forget how old I am. So if I went to do this, I would look pretty ridiculous, I think. So I'm okay with it. I love the name change. It works. I can't tell you. It has just been, it's been hitting it. I see it and it talks to me so well. The Hierophant as a scarecrow, crazy good. Yeah, it's so good. Like, and there's so many cards in here that are like on a trail. This one, with Tom Benjamin, we had like you were going through an old, not haunted, but in a good way, an old house where there's spirits, and you are like asking ancestor questions and like finding the comfort. So I can't remember what room it was, but it was like, where do you refresh yourself? Where do you like refill your cup kind of a thing? So it's a 7 of Swords. But that morning I had taken the dogs for like a 2-hour walk. And where we go to walk sometimes, there's a lot of like mountain bike trails. And there's also, so there's trails just for mountain biking and there's trails just for hiking. And then there's like trails, but it's really like a Forest Service road that connect them for everybody to use together. And so for me, when I get off of where the bikes are to where it's only people walking, and there's a fox right here, and my dog's name is Fox, even though this person is like hiding behind here and doing something sneaky with eggs, I don't even understand what they're doing. I looked at this and I was like, yes, that is the place where I recharge with my dog in the woods on the path that the bikes can't go on. Like very like literal. I love that all the little pages have satchels. So I don't play soccer. I get it. But at the same time, I get this beautiful view too. So totally me. Totally me. Totally me. Oh, look, is this Fool card? Like, I didn't get much further than this. The Fool and the High Priestess, I was like, yeah, okay. I need this deck. It's been so good. She has a winter one. This is the person, Danielle Norman. She did the walking meditation. So I had been looking at those. I had been looking for something like this, I guess. And this one, I wish they were like an older house and like an older car. So many of the cards are like a little bit timeless, right? But then that knocks me out of it. So does the bike. I love the animals as the quartz. It's just beautiful autumn stuff. So really love it. Autumn season tarot. Very happy that I am surprised by how much I love it. Like, this is not just for autumn. I'll probably use this all year round. This has quickly become like a favorite deck. Great. So good. So good. It came crushed and the box is a little bit crushed, but the outer box was super crushed. So I was happy that the deck was fine. I have 2 decks that I got for free. And now that I'm thinking about it, one of them was free. My daughter works at a bookstore, a used bookstore, and she pulled this out of the trash. She didn't put it in the trash. Somebody put it in the trash. And she's like, "Do you want this?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah." So I hadn't gotten this because Druidcraft is one of my favorite decks. It is like my number one ancestor deck, and it was illustrated by Will Worthington. So the same illustrator. And this is by Mark Ryan and John Matthews. I was afraid that maybe all the cards weren't there because it was in the trash. So at my daughter's, I sat down and looked through it, and all the cards are there, put them in order. And this box I hate, so I'm going to probably have to make one a bag. I've had pretty good luck with having bags for the decks that needed them, and they fit pretty well, but I don't think I'm going to have a bag for this. I am definitely going to modify this. I am going to take it down. I'm going to leave the titles, but take off the white borders. Yeah, for me, I think it's going to work much better that way. So I love this card. It is like my favorite card in the deck. And the card that I think about when I'm like, should I get that deck? I love that card. Okay, so my question is, has anybody used this deck who has not done like a deep dive study of it? Because do I really need that? All the pips have keywords on them. So even though some of it is pretty different, like the 5s are different, it has a keyword. So I don't think I need to do a study. Couldn't I? I could just read with this. I know animal energy. I love me, the hare, as the queen of bows or the queen of wands. I never get to be the queen of wands. So that's a good thing for me to see myself as. So yeah, I'm gonna modify it. More to come. But yeah, have you used this deck without doing a deep dive study? Or did you do the deep dive study and you think it was really worth it? Let me know. The other deck I got from my daughter, so that one was free, but this one I probably should have paid her. But whatever she paid for it, it was probably $2 in that ballpark. This is the Enchanted Love Tarot by Amy Zerner and Monte Farber. I love their work. This is probably going to join the Zerner Farber with the Llewellyn trimmed with their vision board oracle that is like my grandma decks. This is I'm pretty sure it's a knockoff, right? I don't have any knockoff decks. I did buy one once. The second deck I ever bought was a knockoff of the Light Seers. I did return it. I got my money back and I got the real thing. But this was from a used bookstore, and I guess I'm going to use it, right? Because what else am I going to do with it? So the roses are wands and the shells are cups. There are keywords on every card. And the wings are swords. Defeat. I looked at it and I thought it said defecate. Oh gosh. Okay. And then the gems are pentacles. So it's a little hard for me to see, it's small. But yeah, I think it's going to join my grandma brigade. And then finally, last month, I finished Song of Achilles. It took me forever, but it's not Madeline Miller's fault. Her writing is great. Her research, amazing. Loved it. But I did like Circe better. This is a story about boys and men going to war for a really stupid freaking reason. And Circe is about a witch. And I loved Madeline Miller's version of Circe so much. So both of them very good. Both of them 5 stars. If I could give 5.5 stars to Circe, I would. So finish that book. I listened to a really good audio book, and it is The Stolen Life of Colette Marceau. Kristen Harmel. I'll put the thing up here. So I like that our protagonist is we see her when she's a child and we see her, she's like 90 years old. So we go back and forth between Nazi occupied France, where she is a child who was raised to be a jewel thief because she is a descendant of Robin Hood and they only steal from cruel, unkind people. And they can't keep stuff for themselves. They give it to people in need. Really beautiful story. So you go back and forth between Nazi occupied France and almost current time. And there's one thing that I was like screaming at the radio in my car as I'm listening to it multiple times. But there were other twists that were like, it was just really good. It was very good. I enjoyed it. I like having, you're rooting for these people so much. So that was a great book. And then I just barely started The Dark Earth by Rebecca Stott. And so far, so good. This is an authentic portrayal of an unimaginable ancient world. She writes into the silences of the historical record as an act of revelation. What emerges are complex characters with fascinating stories who are enriched with a zeal for survival, a work of elegant historical fantasy with great intellect, curiosity, imagination, and empathy that is utterly compelling, says the Irish Times. So far, so good. And last but not least, I'm going to look this over this month. So this is my plan for November. Decide if I'm going to use this as part of my envelope readings next year. So one of my readings is really going to be about like play prompts for creative writing or projects. And the other envelope thing I want to do is around astrology. So I want to learn a little bit more about astrology. So instead of going with like the moon for those, I think I'm going to go with as the signs change. And in addition to that, then I want to have something fun to read. And I was going to buy something. I have a couple books on astrology, but I thought I want to buy something fun. And then I thought, no, stop. Look on your bookshelves first. You probably have something. And I was like, I don't know what compelled me to purchase this. I don't know if I saw it on somebody's channel. I have no idea. So my plan over the next couple of weeks is just to look through it and decide if it's something that I do want to add into my practice next year. We'll see. Okay, so that was October. A ton of decks. I am not going to do like a no buy that I tried to do that and it didn't really work for me. But I have a really nice collection of decks now. There are still going to be some that call to me. I know that the Kickstarter is coming soon. It's not yet, but it still says on Kickstarter coming soon for, what is the name of the deck? Madame Lydia Wilhelmina's tarot deck. Another printing of it. So I definitely want to get that. I'm waiting for my copy of My Friend Fire and the Gentle Tarot. So I haven't owned the Gentle Tarot, and I'm really looking forward to it. And honestly, I'm looking forward to that more than My Friend Fire. I'm excited for that too. I'm glad to support her. I love her work. And I got a couple other things in the box. Whatever. Hopefully it comes before Christmas. I think it will. So I'll be getting some more decks still, but definitely slowing down. I can shop my collection. I can shop my bookshelves as well. So hopefully not going crazy this month and bringing any more decks in. And that's all for me. So everyone have a good one. Take care and I'll see you next time.